Hello, we're here at the beautiful table that Pamela has arranged. It's totally looks November-ish.
It's creative.
And yeah, so, and our lovely plates of paella. So let's get this party started. What do you say?
Absolutely, absolutely. Let's
looks
taste
delicious, absolutely.
Not bad. May need a little
That
bit
is
of salt.
So the secret ingredient is?
Well, part of it is saffron.
That's what I'm thinking. Definitely, I can taste that. It is absolutely wonderful.
And a little bit goes a long way. I think there's a tendency for people who are not familiar with using spices to use too much of anything, whether it's cumin or whether it's saffron. I have a strong objection to using too much.
Cumin. Yeah. Yeah. This is really good. So Hector, I want to talk a little bit about your political history. Tell us what you've done in the past for the Democratic Party.
Well, Rose, I served in the Texas House of Representatives, and prior to that, I helped Democratic candidates throughout the state. I was a state representative from Brownsville, Texas, and I also represented Port Isabel and South Padre Island. And then I was elected to the Senate in 1981 in a special election. I got an opportunity to represent Jim Wells and Brooks County, Hidalgo County, and Cameron County. And of course, I was a coastal state senator, served on a number of important committees, including the Natural Resources Committee, which is very important to people in Wessex County. Obviously, our shrimping and fishing industries and our oil and gas industries are very involved in what happens in the Natural Resources Committee of the Texas Senate, but I also serve on the Finance Committee. So I learned a little bit about how this state is financed. So I was actually asked to run for public office this time around. I was retired from politics, other than involved in Obama's last successful campaign to become president of the United States. And I was a little bit shocked at the fact that late in the year they were still looking for a candidate, and I felt that if my party needed me, that I wanted to be there for my party.
And we really appreciate that. We thank you. And I know that the people from the Valley on up through, Nueces County, they know about you already. They know the wonderful work that you've done for, the state of Texas. And so I know that they're all going to be out there voting for you.
Well, Rose, let me interrupt and say that I hope they remember that I always fought for the little guy, the farm worker, the student, the elderly living in nursing homes and needed protection. I was the author of Protective Services for the Elderly. I was the author of the Robin Hood Bill, and I was also one of the attorneys involved in filing a lawsuit against the University of Texas as a state senator, challenging the way that higher education funds were distributed throughout the state. Back in those days when I was in the Texas Senate, if you wanted to be an engineer, a doctor, a lawyer, if you wanted to get a master's in anything other than education, you had to go literally out of the Rio Grande Valley, out of South Texas, in order to get an upper level degree. When we filed that lawsuit, when I say we, it was LULAC, Maldev were the lead lawyers, and I was local counsel in Brownsville, Texas. We were able to literally shame the state of Texas to doing the right thing, which was to make sure that our students down in South Texas, the Rio Grande Valley, and along the border, from Brownsville all the way to El Paso, got their fare of higher education funds.
That is awesome. And we need more of that, actually. There still isn't enough. I don't believe that we have enough professional schools in South Texas like the rest of the state. And we really need to somebody needs to do something to bring that back. But now I understand you're running for the Texas Land Commissioner. So can you tell us what you're going to be doing in respect to that office?
Well, again, I have very specific concerns that this state is no longer going to be able to depend on oil and gas to fund public education. A lot of people don't realize this, but the main role of the Texas Land Commissioner is to make money for the state, and that money is supposed to flow into the Permanent School Fund, which is our main education fund in that state. And in the past, the way we've made that money is by leasing our state properties, over, I think, 13 million acres of property that the state of Texas has. And what we've done in the past is to rely on oil and gas, and we've been blessed in this state. In 1972, however, we hit peak oil, which means from that point on, we started producing less oil and gas on our state lands. In fact, the state has now used up most of its oil and gas. So therefore, we're looking at a situation where we're getting a diminished flow of revenues from our oil and gas lands in Texas. So we need to make up for that. And let me tell you, it's a considerable amount that we have to make up for. My idea is that communities like Corpus Christi, Houston, Beaumont, Port Arthur, Brownsville, all the communities along our coastal line have a great deal to benefit from the development of wind turbine energy on our Texas's submerged lands in the Gulf of Mexico. Because Texas owns 10.3 miles into the Gulf of Mexico. We could be producing clean, renewable energy on a daily basis, and let me tell you, it would be consistent, day in and day out, in perpetuity, permanently, for our permanent school fund if we developed our submerged lands with wind power.
We've got plenty of that in Corpus, for example. They are already
And
starting.
not just there, but also in West Texas.
Exactly. West Texas, you can drive like towards El Paso and just see
But let me tell you the problem with West Texas.
what's that?
There's no grid to deliver the electricity. It's going to cost $1 million a mile to develop a grid. It's so much easier to develop wind power right off our Gulf of Mexico, which is only 10.3 miles away. Can you imagine how less a cost it would be to develop the grid to deliver electricity to our coastal residents?
And that makes sense. That makes
without
perfect
doubt.
sense.
And first of all, let me say this. The Obama administration, President Obama's administration, has made it very, very clear that we need to deal with climate change. It's extreme climate change, and we're seeing it today. Today is mid-October, and it's as sunny a day and as
It's a beautiful day.
It's a beautiful day.
It's a gorgeous day, yes.
But it's a little bit warm. I'm beginning to perspire a little bit, in spite of the fact that we've got the air conditioning on.
Well, and last year it was 100 degrees or plus every day from Mother's Day to Labor Day.
So
Yes.
we are experiencing extreme climate change. President Obama has taken us in a new direction. Bill White is certainly supportive, and I'm supportive, and that is we need to become energy independent from the Middle East. And one of the ways that we can become energy independent is with clean, renewable energy like wind and solar and geothermal energy. And we're exploring, not only exploring those renewable energies and those clean energies, but we're also, with the Obama administration, moving forward by providing incentives for entrepreneurs to develop clean, renewable energy, whether it be in West Texas or whether it be on the Gulf of Mexico. So I want to work with President Obama, with Bill White, and I want to work to making sure that, first of all, we become energy independent. Secondly, we deal with the issue of extreme climate change. And thirdly, that we provide new monies with a new revenue stream into our permanent school fund. And we do that with wind power on our submerged lands in the Gulf of Mexico. So we're all working together. And that's why it's so important for Democrats to work together. Sometimes people say, well, I'll vote for the man. They'll never say, I'll vote for the woman. Okay?
Exactly.
They always say, I'm going to vote for the man. Well, I'll tell you what. Vote for the principles, and the principles that we stand for as a Democratic Party, whether we are men or women, is that we stand for clean, renewable energy and for creating alternative revenue sources for our permanent school fund.